Today on Cabela's DeerGearTV, we're looking at the Garmin Xero Bow Sight. We'll show you all the features of this new sight. And you'll witness the first hunt ever with Garmin Xero. All that and more here on Cabela's DeerGearTV. Today, we're talking about the all-new Garmin Xero Bow Sight. This revolutionary new bow sight eliminates gap shooting by giving you the exact distance to your target and makes you more accurate. Our first look at the Xero in this episode is how to set up the Garmin Xero specifically to you and your bow.
Once you get the Garmin Xero sight, you'll get it mounted to your bow just like basically any other sight you've ever had. You'll set your trigger up where it's comfortably on your fingers, wherever you want it on your grip right there, and that's going to allow you to push the trigger to get the range to your target. Then you're going to have your mechanical adjustments. I like to do those at about 15 yards. Left and right and up and down, basically like I would with any other bow, until I get everything lined up and configured and I'm shooting a good group at about 15 yards. Once I get that group all dialed in and I'm really comfortable with my mechanical setup, everything's where I want it, everything's communicating in the bow, I begin to set up my pin sights for the distances that I'm going to be wanting to shoot. Now, these are going to be set up basically for you, so your distance choices are up to you. But what I like to do is do a 25, a 35, and a 45-yard pin to sight. Now, granted, I can go out a lot further than that, but that's what I'm initially going to set up. When I begin to go through this pin setup, I want to shoot at least 3 arrows downrange. I want to see my group because I want to make sure I'm consistent. Because remember, this sight is not doing it all for you. You're still working with it. But when I do get a group that I like, I'm going to agree that yes, that's perfect. But when I get some shots that I don't like, say I was 2 inches too low, I'm going to say no on the menu. I'm going to basically go in and then it's going to ask me how low or how high I was, and I'm going to tell it based on the data from the shots that I did. It's going to adjust internally within that sight, give me a new pin, and I'll begin the process again until I'm comfortable and I like my groups. And then once I agree, yes, that pin's set, saved inside my sight, and ready for future uses.
Now you've got your Xero Bow Sight set up and calibrated to you and your bow. If you have the A1i model, it comes with the option to create multiple arrow profiles, which we'll show you now.
You know, the Garmin Xero has so many features in there, but one that's very key and very important to a lot of hunters and archers out there is the ability to set up their pins and their arrow profiles to match their specific needs. By that, say you've got a big elk hunt planned and you know you're going to go out and shoot a real heavy fixed blade broadhead, then you want to be able to know that that broadhead, that arrow, that entire setup is going to perform out to, let's just say, 70 yards. You can go in and calibrate your pins and your sight and your bow specifically to you and that setups, and you'll be able to save it for that. But then during all that time, you're going to go shoot your local 3D tournaments, or you've got a chance to go hunt the local farm and you're going to be whitetail hunting. Well, in those situations, you may be shooting entirely different setups. You may be shooting a lightweight mechanical on one, or you're going to be shooting a target arrow on another, and they all weigh different. Well, you can go into the arrow profiles and your pins and save all that data, and you don't have to go reset, retarget, or realign any of your pins out there. You basically have it all saved. You click the exact arrow profile you want, and that set of pins that you're going to be using for that specific application will be right there for you, matched and calibrated exactly to you.
Don't go anywhere. Up next, we'll show you more features and hunting scenarios with the Garmin Xero. And later, we'll join Wade as he takes the Xero out on its first hunt ever. Deer Gear is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Yamaha's proven off-road ATVs and side-by-side vehicles. Garmin Xero Bow Sight. Leave the guesswork behind.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X2. With a compact chassis perfect for exploring tight technical terrain. an ultra-quiet and smooth 850 class twin-cylinder engine, and next-level versatility with a 600-pound dumping cargo bed. No other side-by-side delivers this level of proven off-road performance. The all-new Wolverine X2 from Yamaha.
We're looking more in depth at all the features the Garmin Xero has to offer, especially when it comes to hunting with it out in the field.
Have you ever wondered how off-level you are when you take a shot, or how different accessories that you add to your bow might affect the impulse of your bow? I know I have in a lot of different cases, but there's no way to really tell about it. With Garmin Xero's built-in sensors, now I can tell how level I was after every shot. I can help identify any inconsistencies that I may have in my shooting form because of that. Think about this. When you shoot, we want that little bubble to be perfectly level. That's our goal every time. But how can you really know? In your mind, you may think you can. With the Garmin Xero, it's going to tell you if you're rolled a little left or a little right. This will help us work on our form. Another cool thing about the Garmin Xero is it helps tell about your vibration at extreme levels. It's going to register the total amplitude, the frequency of your vibration, and how long it lasted. In the practice mode, you'll be able to look at the impulses of that vibration in the milliseconds. For example, when you see 93 milliseconds in there, that tells you your bow is at a maximum vibration for almost 1/10 of a second. How important is that? Well, when you experiment with different setups, you want to be able to minimize that number. You want the least amount of vibrations you possibly can. This is going to allow you to look at different accessories you may want to take on and off your bow and how they affect it, such as string dampeners, anything along those lines. And you basically can also go back and look at your old bow and your new bow and see how each one of them work. Another cool thing is you can look at how many arrows you're shooting in an entire season or in an entire session. You can basically look at this like a mileage counter on your vehicle. The Garmin Xero is going to be able to compile all that data for you, whether you want to store it after just one session or the entire year. Thanks again for watching another in the series of the Garmin Xero videos. Be sure to visit garmin.com/Xero, that's Xero, for more on this revolutionary new bow sight. When it comes to a hunting situation, you always are going to be preparing mentally for what's going to happen out there. How far is it going to be away from you? Is it going to be a close shot, a long shot? When it comes to the Garmin Xero, it really allows you to be able to handle a wide range of situations. A lot of people will take the Garmin Xero and they'll go out and calibrate it at 20, 30, and 40 yards. That's the basic setup that most folks will need. And they'll never think about those high-angle, close-up, extreme shots that somebody may be taking out there. Well, you don't have to worry about it when you've got a Garmin Xero. It's automatically going to calibrate and put that pin in a position, a place within your sight that's going to allow you to be successful without having to guess. So many people in those types of hunting situations where you're at a very high angle and you're shooting very steeply down, or you've got something really up close, wonder where to hold. Well, the Garmin Xero, based on that calibration effort that you've done prior to this and all that practice to get ready for the Xero, eliminates that worry because it's going to calibrate it exactly for where you need. Take this thought into mind. You've got a game animal, say a turkey down in front of you, you're at a high angle shot, you go to full draw, it's going to calibrate it and not put that pin way at the top or way at the bottom of your sight where you're going to be out of position. It's going to drop that pin perfectly where you need it, where you can put it exactly where you need to be able to pull off a lethal harvest shot and find success.
If you want to learn more about the Garmin Xero Bow Sight, visit garmin.com/Xero. Hey Deer Gear fans, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for current hunting tips, gear, giveaways, and more. And if you have a question, don't hesitate to send us a message, and we'll try to answer it in a show or reply right back. Deer Gear is brought to you by Stealth Cam, proven. Bradley Smoker, food smoking made easy. SAWYER Products, we keep you outdoors. And by HIVIZ. See what you've been missing.
How do you aim a 36-yard shot with a 30-yard fixed pin at a 15-degree angle with a 7-inch holdover without moving a single pin? Easy. You get one of these. Xero, the auto-ranging digital bow sight from Garmin.
Many said that we were just obsessed when we started, that there had to be an easier way to smoke food. As time passed, the Bradley family created a lineup of Bradley electric smokers that has made it easier for the novice or even expert chef to get perfect results every time they use it. Grab yourself a Bradley smoker and take your cooking to an all-new level.
Introducing the Stealth NXT, the narrowest and most accurate 10-point crossbow ever. Measuring an ultra-narrow 6 inches wide, the Stealth NXT unleashes devastating speeds up to 410 feet per second, generating jaw-dropping kinetic energy and match-grade downrange accuracy, all on a whisper-quiet shot, 3 times quieter than the competition. The all-new Stealth NXT from 10-Point.
The final feature we are going to look at before heading out to the field with Wade is the laser locate feature, found only on the A1i.
It's very easy in a lot of hunting situations to get caught up in the moment and forget some little details. And it could be your pre-shot routine or post-shot routines that are lost in that moment of exhilaration, that moment of happiness when everything's starting to come together, for lack of a better word. Let's look at a bow hunting scenario. Full draw. Target of a lifetime, big buck, or you're just trying to fill your freezer. You take a shot, everything's going good, you really like it, what you've seen, you're excited, you celebrate internally or with your buddy if he's there, you climb down out of the stand, and all of a sudden everything looks a little different. Those things happen so often when it comes to hunting. Well, the Garmin Xero basically offers an opportunity for hunters to be able to eliminate that search, that worry, and that inability, for lack of a better word, to find the exact spot, say, where they were aiming at, as well as be able to project the spot where the animal was last seen running off. Let's talk about how that works. You take a shot, you've basically got your pin. The Garmin Xero can then transmit that waypoint exactly to certain devices that Garmin has so that you'll be able to navigate to it. The other scenario is, let's say that animal ran off 200 yards away, cut through some brush. Well, you can actually range that distance and communicate a waypoint directly to your Garmin device that once again will allow you to navigate to that spot. So the scenarios are this: you climb down, know you're navigating to exactly where you're aiming. That's going to help you find that blood trail very quickly. And then number 2, you'll be able to know exactly where the last place that you saw that game that you're shooting at run off and out of sight. Great ways that the Garmin Xero can communicate to other devices to help you recover either the trophy of a lifetime or just something you're using to fill your freezer with.
Now let's join Wade out in the field and witness the very first hunt with the Garmin Bow Sight.
You know, the real test of any product is field usage. You've got to get out and try it. And, you know, while we're practicing with this prototype out here, we've, learned a couple things that we've already called back, and they're already calling the factory to make those updates and changes to it. That's cool. But you got to get out and test it in the field. You've got new electronics for your boat, you got to get out and try them. You got a new fishing lure, you got to go try it. You can look at these things in the drawing room and you can look at them on the range, and you've got to go try them in the field though to make sure they're going to apply. So as you look at a hunting situation, in this case here, we've got a full moon, we've got no wind, really a tough hunting conditions, but we've got a stand that I've had success on in the past in similar conditions where deer are going to come up this mountain to kind of feed and then go to a bedding area, and it seemed like the best option. some deer milling around. There's some deer coming through. We've already been busted a couple of times. I've got the Xero turned on, hanging to my left, and just waiting for an opportunity. Got some young bucks out there. Got a doe. I'm tempted right now to shoot a doe. I need some venison anyway. I love venison, but it's early. And we've got some shots of this 12-pointer in velvet that calls this area home. Big chocolate, pretty deer, and that's kind of the one that I'm hoping. I don't know if the hunting gods or what are shining on me, but lo and behold, coming from the right, here comes that 12-point. The deer kind of comes in, he's doing his deer things, he's milling around out there, and I've got my hand on it. I'm sitting right here. I've popped a couple of ranges, not even at full draw yet, as he's going along, kind of learning different things. And I'm just watching this deer, and we've got some does over here that are kind of stamping and a little bit nervous, and he kind of pays them some attention, and he circles around the brush there, and he's slowly working his way from right to left. And I'm just in position. I've been in position many, many times and nothing happens, and I've been in position other times where it comes down perfect. When you get in that position, I talk about visualizing what's gonna happen, preparing in your mind, being prepared for that moment. And in my mind, I'm seeing what he's gonna do. I'm going through a new pre-shot routine because there's one extra step. I've actually thrown a couple steps out that I use in my own traditional bow. I've got one new step in here, which is the laser rangefinder to drop the pin out there. And in my mind, I'm preparing for that.
Deer Gear is brought to you by 10-Point Crossbows. Perfection lives here. Conquest Scents, hunting and dog scents. And by Quick Draw Mineral Blocks, a difference you can see.
What does it take to make EverCalm deer scent? It takes a deer farmer who raises whitetails. It takes mixing the special blend of EverCalm, testing each batch.
That smells good.
And then pouring each container. Once it's cooled, each container is cleaned, examined, and packaged for shipping. It takes the finest deer herd and a great team of people to make the best hunting scent available. EverCalm from Conquest Scents.
HIVIZ Shooting Systems knows that your shooting performance matters in all conditions. All HIVIZ shooters experience faster target acquisition with our durable light wave sights. Featuring easily interchangeable light pipes, light wave sights give your eyes the exact sight picture you crave. Shoot HIVIZ. See what you've been missing.
Engel's got the original high-performance cooler and a whole lot more. Engel coolers, go with the original.
At Sawyer, we use the best technology to make simple products that keep you going regardless of your journey. So whether you're boating, hiking, fishing, camping, or hunting, we keep you outdoors with a full lineup of products to both protect you and make the outdoors more enjoyable. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
Protect it or lose it. Protect it or lose it.
Protect it or lose it.
Protect it or lose it.
Protect it
Or lose it.
Protect it or lose it.
Now we've ratcheted things up. We're testing a bow sight. The very first time ever it's going to be used in the field in a true hunting situation for a white-tailed deer. As he's slowly stepping out and I'm kind of getting ready to go to draw, in my mind, I've got my finger on that little trigger to do my range finding. I've already ranged that area a couple times. I'm not guessing anymore. I'm at 26 yards. How many people out there that bow hunt have a 20-yard pin and a 30-yard pin? Well, in between them, they gap shoot. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people go, well, I just held it in between my 20 and 30. And we end up with a wounded deer. We end up chasing a deer. We end up with a miss. Well, imagine now there's no more of that, because that's what I've got right here. Probably couldn't have been a better scenario for me to test it, because it's in the middle of what most people do. 26 yards. That's what it's showing up. Let it off. I'm at full draw. Leg goes forward. Let the arrow fly. When you get several of them coming through like that. It always shakes me up for a few minutes after I get a shot like that. I mean, that's a great 12-point chocolate antlers. He eased out there pretty good. Shot felt great. Shooting the new Garmin Xero laser bow sight. I mean, literally, you don't have all that extra motion of racing and lowering your bow. I mean, or lacing, I'm so shook up right now. You don't have all the other times of trying to range. I mean, you just push the button and basically it tells you that was a 26-yard shot right there. On him when he turned broadside. Shot felt great, looked good. It's just amazing what you can do when you have the equipment to be able to line things up in that type of a manner and really take advantage of it. You know, so many sites out there today, you're kind of guessing. I mean, there's no guessing in that type of situation right there. You know, you as the human may make a mistake, but when your equipment tells you exactly where to hold and where to aim, you just got to do the rest. I think I hit about an inch different than where I was aiming at. The Xero from Garmin put the dot right where it's supposed to. I'm thinking, I'm watching this deer and he takes off running and he's going over there and I hear crashing going on in the distance. I'm thinking, I smoked this deer. But I see all this arrow hanging out, but I hear a crash. I mean, it sounds like a Mack truck ran into a tree down there and it's thrashing around. I'm thinking, that's the sound of a deer going down. And you know, it's time to come and get down out of the stand. I love to give them a lot of time. We go down there. I didn't expect to see a lot of blood based on the shot placement and everything. And you know, we're kind of working around and we eased down the drain, we eased down the draw, gave it a lot of time. He's piled up. And I'm stoked. I always get excited when I find one. Yeah, buddy, right there, piled up. I mean, that's what we heard. That's what we heard. I mean, that's the stand right there. He came running down that hill and just crashed right here. God. Look at this buck. Look at this buck. Oh man, that's a great 12-point right there. Look at all of that. Oh man, that is the most agonizing time if you're a bow hunter ever, is after you take a shot, you know, waiting to get your hands on them. You always get nervous. I mean, I've done it so many times, but I'm always nervous. Even if I know I just center punched the heart, you know, on that deer there, I could see the arrow. I didn't feel like I got great penetration. Shot hit exactly where I was aiming, 26 yards. And it's always a minute of a moment of just, you just kind of waiting. And you know, we're up in that stand, it was dead calm. This guy came in, look at these tines, look at the colors. I mean, he just chocolate. I love those chocolate antler deer like that. Mainframe 6x6s or something, they're just always enamored me. You just don't see a lot of them. And this is a perfect mainframe 6 here. Each side for a total of 12. He didn't go probably 12 total. I mean, probably 100 yards from where I got him right there. You know, outfield testing that new Garmin Xero Sight right there. And being able to just change and check the distance the whole time I was in that stand, you know, it just makes it's a total game changer all the way around. You know, from the point of being able to watch a deer, the walking and range him, there's no guesstimation anymore. It pops that pin, that dot up right there for you. You put the dot and bang, you're done. You got them. Wow, thank you, big buck. That's gonna fill the freezer. It's gonna taste good all year long. Yeah, that's a great hunt right there. I mean, what a 12 point. You know, first time ever outfield testing the new Garmin Bow Sight, and as advertised. I mean, we spent probably about 2 hours yesterday learning and practicing. I mean, we had no experience with it. There were several of us in camp. We had Michael and Clark out learning and playing with it and going through the paces. And then once we got it dialed in, you could just see the confidence getting higher and higher. And you know, setting up in the stand this morning, I was just praying and hoping to get a chance at a shooter, and to get a deer like this, that's just icing on the cake, because I wanted to see if this was what I thought it was going to be. It's that and more. I mean, it's that and more.
If you want to learn more about the Garmin Xero, or you're ready to order your own, head over to garmin.com/Xero. That'll do it for us here on Cabela's DeerGearTV. We'll see you next time. Purina's Quick Draw is the perfect solution for attracting deer to your location and providing them with the essential nutrients that will encourage their growth.
Use these blocks where you can, and I promise you, not only are you going to see more game, but the game's going to benefit from you placing it out.
When I was in special ops, every item had a purpose, or it got left behind. It's no different today. If it doesn't protect me or help me perform at the highest level, I've got no use for it. Otherwise, I don't come back with whatever it is I set out to get. Wiley X, ballistic rated eyewear.
We plan all year for this. We hone our skills. We have confidence in the gear we choose. We pore over thousands of images and videos. When the time comes, will you be ready? Introducing the all-new 4K camera by Stealth Cam. Proven